The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is brought to you by the host of the program, who is solely responsible for its content.
Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM, The Talker. I'm here with my co-host, husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
How are you, Jackie? How are you doing in this quarantine?
Just lovely. How are you?
I'm good. I'm at a safe location, and we're phoning the show in this week.
It's been very interesting, to say the least.
Yes, it is, and this is going to be a very good show.
We have with us today Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts, a cleaning company. Hi, Colette.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Thank you for calling in with us this morning, and we're going to have a great show.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we cover real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We've been appraising, listing, and selling real estate for nearly 50 years.
Wow, 50 years. If you have any questions, feel free to email them to questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. And when everything calms down and the office is manned again, you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and see what's going on at Dunmore Corners, and you can take a look and see what the weather and what it's like to be outside.
Nothing's really happening.
No, there's nothing. It's like a scene from The Walking Dead or something. There's nobody around.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows now that you have a ton of time on your hands by going to jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com. It's mobile friendly, and we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. If you need to reach a realtor on jruddy.com, we have the realtors, all their photos, their names, their cell phone numbers, their email addresses, and they are fielding calls, and we're doing everything remotely from our computers. A lot of what we do is done through computers, so there's a lot of virtual tours and YouTube videos on our listings and a lot of pictures. So I know a lot of people are spending time in their homes and on their phones, and please check us out, jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com. And if we can assist in any real estate matter, we will gladly help, but the office is closed. Okay, Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts, a cleaning company. So we're going to talk about your cleaning company, and if you can just give me an overview of how long you've been in business and what products you use and why you're here with us on the Real Estate Roundtable today.
Well, thank you for the invitation to share a little bit about C3 Concepts and the best methods to clean, especially during this situation with the virus. I started my company with one residential client, and I did it because it was need-based. I had a great job working in an office locally, but my needs changed as a parent and wanted to be a little bit, spend a little bit more time with my kids at home before they left for college. And so I took a risk with one residential client. I liked to clean. I liked to keep a neat home, so I thought that might be an option. Took a risk with one residential client, and then from there, by word of mouth, the business grew and grew and grew until years later, I decided to expand and move into the commercial end of the business. And so I did that until we semi-retired in around 2018.
So you've been cleaning for 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. And so the coronavirus is taking over our lives in the world, and there are cleaning products that will combat the coronavirus in our homes, in our cars, in our office, in our work spots. What do you use that would be useful, or what can the listener use that would be helpful in their attack on this virus?
Well, Thanks, Jackie, for asking that. And I'm finding that most people are in a state of panic. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? They're rushing out to buy disinfectants and all kinds of products. But the basic thing that everyone can use in their home to clean is soap and water. That old-fashioned method really works the best. Now, there are many good cleaners out there. Each customer of mine preferred their own. I would recommend certain ones to them. But for now, with the coronavirus, I'm recommending soap and water is your best bet for now. Don't panic. Just keep using it. Maintenance is the key, and there's a technique to cleaning with soap and water, if you'd like me to explain that a little bit.
I would. I'd love it.
Okay. So it's really not a fancy way to do it. Plain soap and water will work. But here's the key. You want to keep, if you're using a cloth, use one that you can rinse easily or keep changing. My method is not to use a bucket of water because I believe that the minute you rinse that cloth out in a bucket of water, you're putting the germs back in. Now,
you're
I don't
contaminating that water.
Yes, exactly. So my method and our method in our cleaning business has always been use lots of rags. We just keep turning it over so the clean part of the rag is used to wipe. Now, when one wipes, say, for instance, a counter surface, you have to use just a little bit of elbow grease to get the germs off. If you're just lightly spraying and then wiping, it really isn't cleaning it well enough. So that good hand motion, without breaking a wrist, of course, is vital to making sure the surface stays clean. Now, soap and water works very well. Also, a bleach solution works well. Some are sensitive to the smell of bleach or other disinfectants, so peroxide is a great alternative. It's not quite as strong as bleach, but it's easier on the nose. So it's also less likely to cause damage. So either one of those starting out with are great.
How much bleach should you use in the water to make an effective solution to?
Well, you can make a solution using about 5 tablespoons of bleach. So that's about a third of a cup, and 1 gallon of water. So, or you can use about 4 teaspoons of bleach to 1 quart of water. And when I make solutions like that, I just buy, some spray bottles. Keep it, always mark it, of course, because if there's little children around, you don't want them to be in danger of spraying it or on themselves or ingesting it or anything. But,
well, before all of this happened with the coronavirus, there was like an anti-bleach movement. And there's natural cleaning products and this and that. And so there's people that refuse to use bleach for whatever reason. I'm not one of them, but I've always liked bleach, believed in it as a cleaning solution. But for those that are using natural products, is that going to be effective against this?
Well, I believe there will be, but there's a way to check that. So on any of the natural products, there should be a list of ingredients on the back. And anyone can look at those ingredients, and if they're listed in the chemical names, they can do a search on the Internet and find out what that is exactly. And I think in most instances, there will be some soap in there. So again, it's a matter of personal preference, but I value those products. I value the people who prefer to use those kinds of things in their home. But if I may stress, in order to keep the home as germ-free as possible, and may I stress, we can't reach perfection, but maintenance is the key to keeping those germs at bay. So any product, whether it's soap and water or your natural product that you're using, as long as you're consistent in that and maintaining that, you should be able to ward off the virus. And by the way, as you're using that cleaning motion with a clean rag and putting a little bit of pressure on that surface to clean, I'm not a chemical engineer, but it causes an effect where the proteins in that germ are broken up and removed. But again, maintenance is the key.
Okay, so during the preparation for this show, I did come across a lot of material, and the American Chemistry Council released a list of disinfectant products that are recommended for the use against coronavirus. And I didn't read the entire list because it's about 8 pages long. There's a long list of many products that would be useful for this type of cleaning against coronavirus and other germs. And
hit me with a few. The tension is killing me.
Well, there's a lot of Clorox solutions that they're listing. I mean, it's an A to Z list, a lot of Lysol.
Lysol I can't find anywhere. I've been to the stores, and Lysol is non-existent
Purell.
anywhere.
These are some of the bigger names.
Okay.
Some of these I've never even heard of. But there's a huge list that's available. If you go to the Center for Biocide Chemistries, the American Chemistry Council, Tier 1 products, there's antimicrobial pesticides and just a Tier 1 pesticides, and they're ready-to-use products. And that doesn't sound so good, pesticides, does it?
No, not to me. Well, I've been to the stores. I spent some time in the stores looking for stuff for different people recently. And I have noticed that there is Clorox, there is bleach still on the shelves. There's none of the Lysol products seem to have all vanished. But there's plenty of soap. So I guess we'll be able to keep...
Yeah, and that's very helpful, Colette, because we're all thinking we have to run around and get...
Clorox wipes or this and that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And may I share something with, you mentioned disinfectants. There is a way to make your own disinfectant solution as well. And all of that is water, alcohol, a little bit of dish soap, mix it well. And you can even add that to your paper towels if you have those on hand. Let them in a container to soak a little bit and pull them out and use them as your own disinfectant wipes. So there's a way to get through the shortages, and they're very easy. So that's why I'm urging people, please don't panic, because a lot of the things that you have in your own home will work effectively.
Let me ask you, so you mentioned soap and water, and as long as we have soap and water and we're rubbing it in consistent circular motions and staying on top of it, we should be okay. There's regular soap and there's antibacterial soap.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because there are some studies that have been done on the ingredient that goes into antibacterial products, and that ingredient is triclosan. That's spelled Triclosan. Now, the studies have not proven, as far as I can see in the research I've done, that there aren't any long-term studies to show that it really is effective. The thing that folks are giving a little bit of warning on is that using those products that are labeled antibacterial might give folks a false sense of hope. And so although the cleaning process, using that and spraying it with your hand and using your hand motion is great, it's not proven to be as effective as one would think it would be. But also, if I may share, on that particular product, that triclosan, it is also a product that's in pesticides. And so if one is concerned about the environment, which we should be, that might be something someone might want to look into a little bit more closely before using those for the long term.
So you're telling me that if something says antibacterial, it's not necessarily a better soap?
Well, I'm saying that because of the research that I've done. I'm not a scientist, but I'm going by what I have read up on it. And so with that information, I'm only making a suggestion that it may not, and I'm going to stress, may not be as effective as one may think it is. And from also reading about it, some environmentalists are cautioning against using it. So I think when we hear the words mentioned so often during this pandemic is the words common sense, and I think folks, it would be helpful if they go by their own conscience and their own research to use in their home what would be effective.
Common sense is not as common as you would like to believe.
I hear you on that one.
That's been my experience with people.
Well, Colette, before all of this, long before coronavirus ever existed, there was a debate, and you're touching on it, about soap and then antibacterial. And at one point, I bought everything antibacterial, and then I realized that, reading up on things and getting a little bit more educated on the topic, that there is a belief that there are some good germs, and when you're going to that extreme with antibacterial, you're actually killing off good germs. Is there such a thing? I
would imagine that's possible with anything that we do. I mentioned that we can't reach perfection in the way we clean, and that's important to know because we want to not so overuse a product that we become immune to it and that it no longer becomes effective. So that's where the common sense or doing some research on it comes into play. Each person has to use what's effective in their own home because certain allergies affect certain people, certain medications do, their immune systems are at play, and so forth. So I say it's always best to do personal research on the products that are listed on the back. That's very helpful. And then ask the doctor, is this safe for me? One thing that if I may caution against is using too much aerosols. That's what I stay a little bit clear of in my own home. I prefer to make my own solutions, buy products that are safe, so I use a spray and wipe method rather than an aerosol. And there's another factor to involve when you're using an aerosol or spraying anything too much in the home. It gets on fabrics, it gets in your nose, it could affect your system. So that's another reason why I suggest the good soap and water routine is your safest. Now, that's my opinion as a person who's been a housekeeper and a professional cleaner for over 20 years. I believe that's the safest way to go. It's the easiest way to go, and it's the least expensive way to go.
I didn't have Lysol sprays or Clorox sprays, aerosol sprays, disinfectant sprays. I never used them, and I didn't have them in my closet when this thing broke out. And then everywhere you turn, people are saying, we need this, in our homes, in our offices. I never felt spraying that. I never felt comfortable spraying that and then breathing it in.
That's great. I'm the same way, Jackie. I believe that too. Before I started my business, I remember years ago the Lysol commercials came on, and it showed people spraying it into their phones. Now, these are landline phones that have the speakers right near your mouth. And I started doing it. I succumbed to the commercial, and I started spraying my phone to stay clean in my home, only to realize it broke my phone. So that you have to be careful of those kinds of commercials that are showing spraying product on things that can do damage. Hard surfaces are great. Do a test first, though, to make sure that it's not going to hurt fabric or counter space and so forth. But anytime you're spraying consistently, for instance, on a sofa, we see commercials that say, spray this and free your home of odors. Well, I think the better and more effective way would be just to do a general cleaning to get rid of the odors rather than camouflaging them with sprays.
Oh, my God, that sounds like common sense.
Doesn't it? Thank you.
The scary thing about coronavirus is that, for me at least, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, is that it supposedly lasts for days on surfaces. So even though banks are open and not their, walk-in brick and mortar structures, but they're drive-throughs, they're ATMs, I can't help but think, when I go and I have to make a deposit or take money out or whatever I do, and I'm touching these keypads or the canisters that we send into the drive-throughs, that there could be coronavirus on these items. And then I come home, and then I go and I'm in my car and I call my husband, or I'm on the phone, and so then I'm touching the phone, and then I come home, and then I'm washing my hands.
You touch the doorknob when you're coming in the house.
Right. So, these are the things that they're saying, that this is where this coronavirus is living, and then it latches onto these hard surfaces. So the common sense part of you saying we should be cleaning with soap and water, these items is very important, and we need to be mindful of that.
Well, I got a story of a guy I worked with in Brooklyn a long time ago, and I just found out that him and his wife were the first people I know who have been diagnosed with coronavirus. And he started out as a cough, and she thought she was getting a cold, and then he got it, and it was insomnia. He said there was really no nasal congestion. It was chest congestion. It lasted 3 to 5 days, and nobody required hospitalization or anything. And this guy is in his early 60s, so it wasn't deadly or requiring a hospitalization for him, and they've both recuperated now. So, I mean, this was just a media thing for me until, I just found out this morning that this guy and his wife, they both have it, and they were tested positive for it, but they're doing much better now. So, and this was actually last week that they had it, so I don't know. It's everywhere.
With us today is Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts, a cleaning company, and she's helping us figure out what to use to clean our homes, our workspaces, and our automobiles, and she has been cleaning for 20 years. She knows. How does someone get in touch with you, Colette?
The best way to reach me is through the business number, and that is 570-586-8765. They can also reach me at that same number by fax. If they would leave a message and speak slowly, that's important because it's hard to decipher phone numbers and names if they're speaking too quickly. And I do promise to get back to folks within a 24-hour period.
Thank you, Colette. Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have 2 building lots, one with 175 feet of road frontage and the other one with 200 feet of road frontage. They're right next to each other on Sycamore Lane in Newton Township. Each one is $59,000. This property is level. It's in the Abington Heights School District. It's just minutes from Clark Summit, and the lots are 250 feet deep. That's an acre and a third for each parcel. So if you're thinking of building, take a look at these parcels of land on Sycamore Drive in Newton Township for $59,000 each, and that was by Gail Lewis of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find exactly, precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
You're rejoining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker. When updating your home, especially if you ever plan on putting it on the market, it is a good idea to incorporate current trends into your renovations. So there's a fine line between trends and fads, and a lot of people think that the fad is here to stay, but it can affect your buyer pool. So fads are characterized by an intense and widely shared enthusiasm for something, but they fade in popularity quickly and have little basis in practicality. Trends, on the other hand, have longer lifespans, more sustainable as a market force. Trends indicate the general direction that something is developing over time. Oftentimes, design trends are predictable because they have a basis in practicality that justifies their popularity. So what's trending? Wood floors. Wood floors are a trend, right?
Wood floors are always a good idea.
Yes, but there was a time when wall-to-wall carpeting was a preference, right? But the trend these days, wood floors. That's not a fad. The kitchen island. How long have we been seeing the kitchen island? So when that started out, people thought it was new, and it's been something that's been tested, and people like to have it, especially an island that people can sit at. So that's a trend. But fads can occasionally turn into a trend. It's hard to know which ones are which, but if your goal is to attract a wide range of buyers and you want to sell quickly, steer clear of fads. What's a fad? Let's talk about what's a fad. Wallpaper.
Yuck.
Right? So, but it's on Instagram, it's on Pinterest. Busy, bold wallpaper is back, and it's back in a big way. There are designers that say just do one wall. Don't do the whole room. Pat, do you remember the houses we would go into and there would be wallpaper on the ceiling?
Yes, absolutely.
If there's a buyer that sees a home with a lot of wallpaper, what are they thinking?
They're thinking, I got to do a lot to get rid of this, and this is going to cost me.
Right, and so they'll stay away. But if there is paint on the wall that they don't care for, they know it's an easy fix. Right. Although we often tell people stick with neutral tones because you have widespread appeal when it's neutral, and anything like that can be changed easily by a buyer.
How many homes have we walked into, and you're really good at this, you go, oh, this home was done in the 70s.
Yeah.
Usually like the orange on the countertop is a dead giveaway. And you could go, oh, that house was done in the 80s, and this one was done in the 90s. You can pin it out as soon as you walk in.
Yes. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 The Talker.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com.